გამარჯობათ, მოგესალმებით. ეს არის პოდკასტი შენთვის. მე ვარ გიორგი და დღეს გვყავს ძალიან საინტერესო სტუმარი, კონკრეტულად Les Roches და Glion-ის უნივერსიტეტების წარმომადგენელი, ჯულია და ეხლა გადავალ ინგლისურზე, რადგან ჩვენი სტუმარი ქართულად არ საუბრობს. So yeah, I made the introduction and I already introduced you as a director of Glion and Les Roches. So I want to kind of start broad with this interview, and I want to ask you to talk about hospitality field as a whole, because sometimes there's a confusion in Georgia with the Georgian students that they're not really sure if they're going to get into the hospitality. What are they going to be learning, and what does it mean, like, to hospitality as a whole? Like, what does it include? So if you can go over the hospitality field in a little bit, and then I'm going to ask you direct questions about the universities itself.
Perfect. Gamarjaba, Georgia. I'm learning Georgian now, so getting there. This is my second home. First of all, thank you for having me here.
No problem.
Always, any opportunity I get to speak about the industry and also about our schools, I really love it, because it's something I'm very passionate about myself personally. I think the industry, hospitality industry, it's. I think people should not narrow it down to the service level of just thinking that it's probably service in restaurants and hotels, and it's just hotel and restaurant business. Hospitality, it's actually the word is hospitality means to be welcoming. Okay, so as we get into the explanation of what kind of jobs you can have in this industry, with whom we work, because we're taking quite high positions in the world of education in the industry. We're top 5 universities, and obviously for students it's a good investment. So that's one side. I'm passionate about the hospitality industry itself, but also I think this is a super important stage of anyone's life, because choosing a university is so important. And I'm always happy to support and to provide more information, because when you choose the wrong field of study, you pretty much waste 4 years of your life. And it's super important to even start thinking before, when you're in school, what am I passionate about? What do I want to do? And it's great when the parents support the same passion, because obviously then the agreement is that we're going to study or do something that you really want to develop in. So the industry, coming back to the industry, it's so broad. Because it's a business. It's a business. We obviously, there are basic things that students have to learn, because our goal is to create an environment, education environment, where students are learning how to be entrepreneurs. So pretty much, if I look at the class of graduates or alumni now, I've been here 15 years, so I've seen a lot come and go with families already. I see their kids already coming, so it's an interesting journey. When I see where they go and how they aim to become, either work a part of a large international company, which we partner with, or another path is a lot of them want to become entrepreneurs. They want to open something because they've always had these ambitions, they've always been motivated, and so you have both choices. It's up to you.
That's actually a great introduction, I believe, and people often in Georgia confuse hospitality with just tourism, because that's how they used to teach it for a very, very long time in Georgia. And what would be the difference? You mentioned entrepreneurship. So if you would study, let's say in Glion or Les Roches, like, would you have to go into the tourism alone? Like, can you make that definition? Obviously, you could go into the tourism as a field as well, but as you mentioned, it's so much broader, right, than just tourism. You mentioned entrepreneurship. That's a new concept for Georgia as well.
Really?
A little
There's
bit.
so many entrepreneurs I can see.
There are, and it's mostly younger generation. You mentioned it's very, very important that families and kids agree on what should be their future career, like with their future major. So I think that it would be good if you could explain a little bit more entrepreneurship in the field of hospitality, specifically if you study at Glion or Les Roches. what doors does it open up? Like, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur after graduating from Glion or Les Roches?
So I think I'll come back to the whole industry because I'll just give a couple of examples of companies with whom we work, and I think it'll give an idea of how broad the industry is. So in terms of practical examples, so obviously we work with all of the 5-star chain hotels, international chain hotels, which obviously gives an opportunity to students to travel around the world as they move up in terms of their career. So they can have a very international career in the hotel industry. This is not, again, just the front office reception. This is manager of a department, then you go up to director, then you go up to the VP, then you go up to the regional VP, then you go up to global VP, and up and up and up, if that's the ambition. So that's just the hotel space. Then there is obviously anything that has to do with F&B. F&B is, you know what it is?
Food and beverage.
Food and beverage, excellent. So it's not working in the restaurant serving people. Food and beverage industry is multi-billion dollar industry. Anything from catering to large events, large weddings, and I'm not talking about weddings of 10 people, I'm talking about...
So could you say event management also could be, because event management is a very popular field in Georgia, a lot of...
We have a specialization in event management, so students need to understand the basics. They need to learn the business subjects of what it is to run a business or become an entrepreneur, because it's going to be your business that you create. But then you choose a pathway, you choose a study. Event management is one of them. In fact, the whole program is into the program they're fibered in things like event management, organizations, sports management, luxury brand management is a really popular one. It's a new... I
was actually going to ask about luxury brand management.
I mean, fairly new. It's not yesterday, but we've had it about, I would say, probably 4 or 5 years, because we adapt the program to the current needs. Not even to the current needs, to the future needs of the industry, because we have our education is very career focused, and we work with many companies. I mean, we have probably I don't even know how many, 350 partners that come every semester.
Can you expand on career focused? I think that's a very important phrase, and I think that we should talk a little bit more about that. So what does it mean, right? I mean, it used to be that universities were just like academically concentrated, right? But I feel like, especially in the field of business and hospitality especially, that kind of has changed, and it's not, you guys don't pay attention just to academics, and you put just as much weight on practice, right? So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is why these universities have such high rankings, is because honestly, in this industry, it's very difficult to learn in theory how to deal with people. What are the soft skills? And this is what the employers are looking for now. They're looking for specialists and students who understand very kind of customer-oriented nuances of doing a business, because the technical skill you can teach anywhere, great universities. You can teach finance, you can teach marketing, but to teach the soft skills, how do you come out of crisis situations? How do you keep calm? What do you do in crisis? So we have courses focusing on crisis management, on protocol, on etiquette, on how you look, your presentability. So it's a university that doesn't just teach you very strong business subjects, which we do, but on top of that, we have this practical, very reality-driven education system where we teach you all the things of how to be a strong professional and successful one from day one. So everybody's wearing suits. All of our students are wearing suits. And you can think psychologically, when a person wears a suit, immediately everything changes. You assume responsibility.
I agree. I was taught from very young age that looking apart is just as important as the knowledge, right? So you gotta look apart for your job. So I completely agree. And can you talk about internships that are, as I know, part of the education also at your university, because I believe that having that work experience after you graduated, along with theoretical or practical knowledge that university provides in the classroom, I think is very important. So can you talk about that side?
So we have many programs. We have bachelor programs where there are 2 internships required, each 6 months.
And
so
they're required. I think that's very, very important part, that
not
you
optional,
cannot
not
graduate
optional, exactly.
if you're not going to do the internship. So I think
it's
that's
like
very
a course.
important.
Actually, the internship has an academic credit. So we have accreditation which monitors how many credits the student has finished to be able to move on to the next semester. So if you haven't completed the requirement of the credits, you cannot graduate. So without the internships, it's impossible to graduate.
That's very important, right?
So internship gives you an opportunity, and this is not an internship in a local shop around the corner. This is an internship in these fantastic companies, global companies. Our students travel to remote places in the world because they're getting jobs there, and it opens them up in terms of international knowledge. It gives them exposure to the employer, to the company which employs them, and it gives them kind of an insight on what is the culture inside. Because when you're 15, 16, 17, 18, you have this dream to work in Formula 1, for example. I'm sure you know Formula 1, right? So, and we have many students, FIFA, Formula 1. I want to work in 4 Seasons. I want to work on in the yacht business and private jet business. So great ambitions, but you have this dream. Unless you're in the environment, you don't understand what it is behind the scene, how to work there. So that internship opportunity too, on the bachelor degree, and all of our programs require an internship, except for an MBA. So, and that is because MBA assumes you already had 8 years of experience minimum in the industry. So
that's interesting. We can talk about MBA and the specific programs a little bit later, but you said 8 years. Is that a requirement for the MBA, or is that something that you get students who have on average? It's a requirement. Yeah,
minimum, I said. So on that program, you would find general managers, you would find business owners, so people at very high caliber and high level of their career, and they feel they either need to refresh the knowledge or they're stuck somewhere, they hit the ceiling, the glass ceiling. They kind of have the ambitions to go forward, but they can't because the job requires to have an MBA. So actually a lot of jobs now at a high VP level and onwards require an MBA. So
if you're not going to build up your own business, then you got to have that MBA experience in order to get hired by the top companies. I completely understand and agree. Can we talk a little bit about, because a lot of students from Georgia who leave to study hospitality, they have an ambition to come back and start their own business, be it in food and beverage or be it a hospital. I meant to say hospitality, I said hospital. Be it, I don't know, like restaurant chains. And I know myself that obviously both Glion and Les Roches would be able to provide you with that knowledge, but you could definitely get into more details on how well equipped are they going to be to come back and start their own business once they're going to graduate. I'm talking bachelors at a specific moment. And in general, why is Les Roches and Glion better choice for those students who have that ambition, either coming from the family business or have ambitions on their own to start something new and create something new? How well are they going to be equipped after they're going to come back?
So I think I mentioned already a little bit the philosophy of our education, which is based on practicality, and also what's important is the teachers, the professors who are teaching. They're people from the industry. So this is not a teacher who is
they're practitioners.
Exactly. So if I want to learn something in my field of passion, I go to the person who's an expert in that field, and that's exactly what the professors, that's the professional staff that we have across all schools. And I should mention, actually, we have campuses in Switzerland, the main ones in Switzerland.
That's important.
Then we have Spain. We have Les Roches, beautiful campus in Spain. It's really magic in this very touristic area. So you have the whole industry right there outside of your campus, which is a good opportunity to be exposed to it so you can see how it all works. And then we have a campus in London. So students have a choice during the program to move. They can move every semester wherever they want.
Oh, so they can actually move every semester. So
and we have some very ambitious ones that move every semester.
Okay.
So, and obviously you pay the price for that semester where you are. So it's not a fixed price. So obviously Switzerland is more expensive. Spain is cheaper. So or more economic.
And are
option.
all the programs in every location? So, for example, for bachelors, like could you do, let's say, luxury management in every location, or how does that work, or are there any restrictions?
Not restrictions, but we have a little bit different programs in depending on the university first. So, for example, luxuries, and we have in Glion, which is the master level luxury, but then we also are starting a brand new program this September. We just launched it. It will be focusing on just luxury lifestyle, because it's a very different industry, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
And so we will have a business bachelor in luxury business.
All right.
So it will not. So the students will not do kitchen. They will not do front office. So it will be a very different curriculum, and we will have a lot of inviting, traveling, professors who are just coming for certain sessions. And they will be exactly from the luxury industry. So it's a brand new one. For example, it exists only in Glion. In Les Roches, we have a little bit of different programs because of the profile of the school.
All right.
So
basically, if I may, I apologize for interrupting. So basically, if all three locations have that same major, you could freely move and study in those locations, right? And I do want to add something. Luxury management, I personally believe, and this is my own idea, I believe that it's one of the prosperous jobs, I would say, because no matter what happens, usually economic crisis just hit the world, luxury really does not
it actually
go
grew.
down. It actually continues
it
to
was
grow.
Developing,
and that's very important to know, because if you're talking about the job security and the building career in a field that is stable, financially, economically, I would say that luxury is probably one of the best fields to go into. It's good that you guys are starting the completely new program for the bachelors. That's amazing. That's a really good opportunity.
We'll see how it goes, but we just announced it. But we already have a lot of interest.
Good luck.
Going to be. Thank you so much.
I'm sure it's going to be successful.
Me too. It's going to be a limited edition kind of a program. So anyone who's interested to apply, they should really try to apply earlier, because the universities are boutique universities. We don't have the capacity to go thousands of students. So we really select students from around the world. We have over 110 nationalities.
That's very impressive.
It's impressive. It's very important. You're building this kind of international CV. You're in an international environment, and that's really important, because your mentality is shaped. You have friends from all over the world who then become your business partners, who then become your wife or husband, etc., etc. So, and it's alumni network, and this whole network that we have of students graduated from 40 years ago to now to.
How old is Les Roches and Glion?
So Les Roches was opened in 1974 and Glion in 1962.
Wow, okay.
So we've been
That's a long
around.
history, especially for the field of hospitality, because academic-wise, it has not really been recognized for that long, and there always used to be those problems that people were not sure what kind of degree they were getting. So the fact that Glion and Les Roches are one of the pioneers, basically, of the field, I think that's very important, especially when you talk about connections and alumni and the network, right? That's very, very important that school has such a long history and is recognized all over the world, right?
And it's really actually true, because anywhere I travel, and I travel a lot, there's always somebody from Glion or Les Roches that would say, "Oh, you're from Glion? I graduated 15 years ago," or somebody, "You don't remember me? My name is Anastasia. You recruited me in 2013." It's okay, well, I have a lot of students, but hi. But that's what actually it not only does it give you a great comfort in the world, you basically feel at home, because the alumni will always greet you at home, at their home. You're not staying in a hotel, or you have a local experience, number one, but also in terms of business opportunities and business projects. Once you're with different mentality people, creative ideas come.
Yeah, of course.
Your brain is challenged, and you're thinking differently. Sometimes, even me, when I go to Les Roches or Glion, when I visit the schools, being in the school, all of a sudden something comes to me as a new marketing campaign, for example, or it just because you're in this environment, which shapes it forms you.
Yeah, of course, and being in a diverse environment is very, very important. And I always tell my kids that it's completely different being in the university, let's say in Georgia, where you're surrounded, like 90% of people are from the same culture, from the same background, similar background, and you're kind of locked in the box, right? And going into the university, which is international, you said you have 120,
more than 110.
Yeah, over 110 nationalities on the campus. That definitely opens up your mind to different possibilities that you did not even know that existed, right? So
I can honestly say that our students, after they graduate, and not just bachelor degree, masters, any degree irrelevant to what they've been doing, after they graduate, they really are citizens of the world, because they've studied in potentially 2-3 countries. They've done internships in another 2 countries. So they've traveled the world. They have friends from all over the place. And yes, maybe they come from a country where they lived up until Glion, but many of them are even mixed. Their parents are, Brazilian, Japanese, and the father is Austrian American. I mean, and you have one person, 4 nationalities in, and plus all the people that he or she is studying with. So you really feel very comfortable in the world.
I agree. And to kind of go towards universities a little bit more. So why would you say that a student, be it, and we can talk about bachelor's and master's or MBA, should choose Glion or Les Roches over other universities? That's, I believe, is an important question. And also, why go to Glion and not Les Roches, or Les Roches and Glion? Like, I believe people often, and I've had those experiences as a counselor, people often confuse between these two and say that, like, okay, I'm not sure, like, why should I, unless obviously that Glion has that program that Les Roches does not. So if you could talk about differences between Glion and Les Roches, and if there are none, we can talk about that as well. And in overall, why students should choose Glion and Les Roches over other universities.
So I'll answer that question first, and then we go into Glion.
Your choice.
I would say, why not? We are top ranked. We're best, basically, in this industry. This is a brand. Both brands are recognized worldwide. So it's an investment in yourself. Where anywhere you travel in the world, people say, oh, you graduated from Glion. You don't have to explain anything further. So that's done. Okay. The job is done. Number 1. Number 2, we have the accreditation, which Harvard has, MIT has. So it's a very high level academic accreditation. And
are both Glion and Les Roches accredited to the same organization? Okay.
Exactly. So, and there's only one other school, one other university that's accredited.
We should not say their name. Okay.
No, we can. It's fine. I like healthy competition, not a problem.
Course, just a joke.
But in Switzerland, there are only 3 universities that have, in hospitality, that have this accreditation, which is basically very important, because I've done this myself, and for me it was very important. What am I investing in? Because it's a hefty investment. This is not a cheap version of education.
Yeah, of course.
So you need to know what you invest in, and the fact that they're accredited and the brand is recognized, and the system, the philosophy of education is so unique that I haven't seen any other university that's doing what we do. And the partner base, the alumni base. I mean, we have companies like Louis Vuitton, Rolex, Tesla, Etihad Airlines, Emirates Airlines, all of the chain hotels, the Mandarin Orientals, the Four Seasons, the Marriott Group, we work with the Olympic Committee. The head of Olympic Committee is our alumni from Les Roches. He's leading, he has organizations 600 people plus. When the games are thousands of people. So he's at home when he comes to Les Roches. He just comes for coffee and he says, I have 60 job vacancies open. So why wouldn't you choose? Unless you're more of an engineering mind, very laboratory focused or something very technical, then it's not probably our dimension. But think of business. So, for example, I had a conversation yesterday with somebody who is creative, and she says, I love design and I love fashion, and great, but how do you commercialize your passion? So that's where we come in.
All right.
It's an education
that's a very important
that
point.
turns your passion into money.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you need to earn a salary.
That
you
should
need to
be your
live.
slogan, like for the university.
Yeah, I should actually trademark that.
Yeah.
I always think, what did I say? Education that
that turns your passion into money.
Good, I like that.
Great. Yeah.
See, this is what I mean about ideas. You see. But yes, and so that's the first part of the question. Second one is the difference between Glion and Les Roches. I think it's like, do you have children?
One.
Bad example. So if you have two children, for example, 2 or 3, same family, same dad and mom, but totally different kids. Yeah. One is kind of introverted, maybe more conservative, kind of more traditional maybe, and the other one's like, hello, very
So Glion would
outgoing.
be the traditional one, I'm guessing.
So
okay.
This is completely my subjective opinion, and this is how I see the schools. But Glion is more. It has a more traditional history of from the beginning, and Les Roches, because the first campus of Les Roches was open up in the mountains in Switzerland, 1,500 meters above the sea level. So you're up in the mountains in Switzerland. Not much to do around, so students have to be very creative, very entrepreneurial, very innovative to entertain themselves. You know? So that kind of sets the tone of who the student would be of Les Roches and who the student would be of Glion. Right. But this is just a personality, I'm telling you, right? Apart from the program difference, obviously. Yeah.
And you already mentioned that there are couple degrees or 1 degree maybe, because we spoke just about one that is taught in Glion and not in Les Roches. So are there any more like academic differences between the two? So I always get the feeling when we, like, I don't know, I'm assisting a student to fill out the application, or when I'm just doing the research for a student to advise for this and that university, that Glion seems to me more exclusive compared to Les Roches. Is that true, or not really? And it's just like in my head, basically.
I think to some extent, yes. Maybe it's because of the luxurious environment. Because Glion is, when you walk into Glion, it's very luxury. You don't even feel that it's a university. You feel you're in some very high-end luxury something, because the students are all dressed.
Maybe that's what it is.
It's just how the programs we teach there, the luxury brand management, for example, it's just a different feel. I wouldn't say it's more prestigious. I wouldn't say that, I graduated from Glion, so I have a more prestigious diploma than you from Les Roches. Not at all. That would be discrimination against Les Roches, because it's a fantastic school. It's a fabulous school, and it just teaches. It's just a different environment, really, and depending on the programs, we have a lot. So if we're going to mention all of them,
not gonna,
I think you should just put all the, because we have different specializations, and the students are actually choosing specializations only on the last year of the bachelor degree, which is also very important.
So it's like a liberal arts type of approach, basically.
Not really. It's business. It's general business, but then at the end, after you've done the internships, you tried yourself in different departments, in different companies, in different fields of the hospitality industry. Then you kind of can tell for yourself what I want to pursue. Because for me, finance is interesting, or luxury interesting, or sports management.
So kind of to finish up, is there, because I believe I asked all the questions that I wanted to, except one actually, and it's good that I said that. It popped in my head right away. We always get asked questions about like scholarship possibilities, and no matter if student needs one or doesn't need one, they always try to apply for one, and usually it's one of the main reasons when they apply to the university, if they're going to choose or not choose the university. Are there any scholarship opportunities and admissions process, like how early should they get started to have better chance to get admitted and better chance to maybe get some type of financial assistance?
So we don't officialize, we have official scholarship, which is hospitality scholarship for a sponsor who's paying, who's in the industry. So we love to support the industry. Then we have siblings discounts as well. So and sometimes we have 4 generations coming to study, great-grandfather, now father, now the son. So it's quite interesting and impressive. But going back to scholarships, I personally love to support those who are passionate about this business, because that passion, it sparks in your eyes and you get better jobs, you have more jobs, and then that's a reputation that comes back to us. We've graduated somebody amazing for you, so here, take this candidate, and for us it's obviously more companies are interested to come recruit more students, so it's a very connected world. So I love to support as much as I can those who are motivated with strong grades, with strong passion and languages, the desire to travel the world, so this kind of a profile, but it's very individual. So the process is the earlier you start, the better, because students even apply 2 years in advance. To be granted a scholarship.
That's very interesting. 2 years in advance, it's definitely.
So 2 years in advance or 1 year in advance, and then it's a rolling process. So we look at the profile, we look at the motivation letter, and then I go ask the director of the campus of the university that they're applying to, and then maybe we don't have the maximum that I asked, but maybe we go lower, but at least there is an opportunity always.
So to put it simply, earlier you apply, better chances you have of admissions and better chances you have for getting a scholarship. Is there anything I missed? Because now I do have a feeling that I asked every single question that I wanted to ask. Is there anything I missed? Do you want to add something?
Maybe about Georgians, because we've had me personally, on my experience here, on my tenure here, I've had 15 years worth of experience with Georgians coming to our school. And I must say majority, I'd probably say all of them actually have been fantastic students. Really motivated, really passionate, well-behaved, mature, and they get great careers. I mean, we were just speaking in the car on the way here that they're all over the world. So you have some who came back here, started their business, or started working for the family business and uplifted it. Or, I mean, there was somebody in Miami, somebody in Puerto Rico and America, I mean, all over the place.
Good to
you
know.
Want an international career, and we're in touch with all of them, and we can obviously coordinate if somebody's interested to speak to them personally. We can coordinate a call and meeting. And
I think that's important that you have so many Georgians graduated, because people talk and they look for someone who can give them feedback about the experience they've had. So that's definitely a great opportunity. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I know you have a very busy schedule, so thank you for making time and coming and talking to us. So thank you. ძალიან დიდი მადლობა, რომ მოგვისმინეთ. იმედია საინტერესო იყო და დამატებითი ინფორმაციისთვის, რა თქმა უნდა, შეგიძლიათ რომ დაგვიკავშირდეთ. ჩვენი საკონტაქტო ინფორმაცია მითითებული იქნება ვიდეოს ქვემოთ. მადლობა, კარგად იყავით.
მადლობა.